Okay, this is the next part in the setting up for the lab manual, the lab setup guide. And we are going to be installing the Active Directory in DNS. So we have gone to here. This is where we're at right now. We're going to be installing the Active Directory in DNS. And we're working our way through the lab setup guide. So to do that, we're going to click on Manage and Add Roles or Features. And here we're going to go ahead and click on Next, and then Next, and then Next again. And we're going to select Active Directory Domain Services. And then Add Features. And then we're going to select DNS Server. Add Features. And then Next, 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 Install. And I'm going to go ahead and pause this video while it works through this installation, then we'll resume. Okay, so now we have configuration requires installation succeeded on RWDC. Now we're going to go ahead and click on Close. And we want to go over to Tools, and then the DNS rather. And I'm going to minimize this just for a few minutes. Maximize this. Bring this over. So we want to expand our RWDC01, and you'll see we have forward lookup zones, reverse lookup zones, trust points, and conditional forwarders. We're going to be working with forward lookup zone first, so let's expand it. And then we're going to left click, right click, new zone. Select Next. And the primary zone is already selected, so we're going to click on Next. And the zone name, we're going to type in contoso.com, and then Next. Next. We're going to allow both non-secure and secure updates. And then Next. And then Finish. And then we're going to go ahead and go back to our server manager. And there's a little yellow triangle here that we're now going to address. So if we click on it, we want to promote this server to a domain controller. And here we're going to do add a new forest. Contoso.com. And then Next. And you'll see the little asterisks come up here once it's ready. All right, now we're going to go ahead and put in our password again. Again, that's capital P, little a, $, $W, 0RD. And click on Next. Okay. So I just had to put in the credentials and then next. 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 And I'm going to pause the video while I wait for this to finish. Okay, now we're going to click on install. Okay, now it comes up with the thing that you're about to be signed out. Go ahead and click on close and let it go ahead and reboot. And as soon as it reboots, I will resume the video. Okay, now that we've restarted, we're going to go ahead and log in as Contoso/administrator and use our password. All right, we're back to our server manager. I'm going to go back into tools and then DNS. And now we want to left click, right click, properties. And you'll notice we don't have any forwarders yet. So we're going to go and click on OK. And then expand this. And we're going to go ahead and create a reverse lookup zone. So we're going to expand this, left click, right click, new zone. Next. 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 And we're going to put in the ID of 192.168.1. Select next. Again, we're going to allow both secure and non-secure updates. Next and finish. Now I'm going to close out of this. Actually, I want to just double check one other thing. All right, we're going to go and close out of this. Select local server. And you'll notice that the computer name, we've already changed to RWDC, but the domain has now been added as contoso.com. So what we're going to do, and one thing that I've noticed with using these Hyper-V properties is that as we work through our labs, this likes to change. The preferred DNS server, I previously set it up as the 192.168.1.50, and I'm going to change that back. And then OK, and then close, and then close. And before I end this video, I'm just going to go ahead and create a software folder in here. So I'm going to minimize this, select my Windows Explorer, double click my C drive, right click, new folder, software. Now we have to create this as a shared. So I'm going to right click again, go into properties, sharing. We're going to go ahead and share it. Everyone, add. Now I want read write, and then share, and then close. And now I'm going to click on advanced sharing just to make sure that everything's okay. Click on permissions, and you'll see that we have full control, change, and read access for everyone. That's fine. Click on OK, and then OK, and then close. And then we can go ahead and click on network. This is where it gets a little bit tricky sometimes. Select on network, and you want to go ahead and select here, turn on network discovery. Yes. Now, it does see my live machine, but when I go to click it, it's not going to let me access it. So what we're going to do, and what I've noticed, is that we have to go into right click, task manager, and we're going to do more details, services. Go ahead and click on the name to alphabetize it. We're going to go down to the FD host and then FD res pub to make sure they're both running. So this one isn't. We're going to click on start. As soon as we do that, you're going to see the RWDC pop up over here. That's a good thing. Now, if we go to our Windows Explorer, go on our network, we see our RWDC here. So we're going to go ahead and click it. And we should be able to see our software folder. Just minimize the stuff. And here's our software folder. So we want to go ahead and double click that. And now what I want to do is I want to copy the software that I already have put onto my live machine. And I want to put that onto my RWDC. So open up another folder, go into my C drive, go here to software. I'm going to do Control A, Control C. I'll close this and then do Control V. Now all of my software is going to be located on my software on my domain controller. And that might take a couple of minutes to finish copying. I'm just going to minimize it for now. And then close out of this and bring my machine back up. So now we have our software folder. If I pull this up, oops. Double click. Software. Now while I'm waiting for this to copy, the next thing I want to do is click on media, and keep in mind that the server 2012 ISO is still installed. I want to eject that, so now it's no longer attached. This way when I go to reboot again, it's not going to ask me to boot from my DVD drive. Now the next thing I want to do before I go too far and I end this video is I want to mount the Windows 8.1 ISO because there's some files that we need from it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close out of this for a minute. And I'm going to go back to my C. And I've added the Windows 8.1 Enterprise with Update. We want to mount this, so I'm going to, it's an ISO, so I'm just going to double click it. I just want to mount this image. And you'll see that it's now mounted over here. So I'm going to click it and then go into Sources folder. Oops, don't want this. And we want to find in the sources folder the install.wim. Which is right here. So I'm going to left click, right click, copy. Now I want to go back to my C drive. And I'm going to add that right here, Control V. I also want to put it into my RWDC, so I'm going to select my network again. Go into my RWDC. Go into my software, and I want to put my file right here, Control V, as well. Actually, I don't need this ADK set up here, so I'm going to delete it. I'm going to close this. I do need to go into it. Here. Because we need to install it. And it needs to be installed from a download. Actually, we need to download it first and then install it. And we're downloading the installation onto a separate computer. And actually, once we get to that point, we're going to point to the RWDC and software folder. Okay, so now we're going to download the Windows Assessment and Deployment Kit for Windows 8.1 for installation on a separate computer. And here I'm going to click on Browse. And I'm going to point it Okay, let's do it this way. RWDC01/software. And we have Windows Kits 8.1 and ADK. And then we'll go ahead and click on Next. And then here we're going to go ahead and click on Next because we don't need to join the Customer Experience Improvement Program. And then we'll accept the terms and allow it to do its download. Now we can't do this directly within the RWDC because keep in mind the RWDC only has an internal switch. So that's why we're doing the download from our live machine into our networked RWDC. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on the video on pause while this downloads. Alright, it's finally done downloading, and I'm going to go ahead and close. And now if I go into my folder, you'll see I now have Windows Kits added to it. That's from that download. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. The next video we're going to get into installing and configuring Server 1.